There are fears tonight that Vladimir Putin may be preparing to unleash a radioactive dirty bomb in Ukraine.
Called dirty bomb, and could use it against its own people.
Kremlin officials are raising the specter of Ukraine deploying a radioactive dirty bomb. The Ukrainians deny that accusation.
If we're to use a tactical nuclear weapon, I'm not guaranteeing you that it's a false flag operation yet. Don't know. But it would be a serious, serious mistake.
What is a dirty bomb, and how does it work? By spewing radioactive dust and smoke into the air, a dirty bomb's main goal is to incite fear, panic, and bewilderment. The Kremlin claims that Ukraine is getting ready to explode a dirty bomb so they can pin it on Russia and escalate the war, which is already in its 9th month. Western countries have dismissed Moscow's claim as transparently false. Although no successful dirty bomb attack has ever been recorded, 2 failed attempts to detonate such a device were reported in the southern Russian province of Chechnya more than 20 years ago. Investigators also found nuclear material capable of being used in a dirty bomb in an abandoned factory in Chechnya. How is a dirty bomb put to use? The comparatively crude, inaccurate weapons known as dirty bombs are technically referred to as radiological dispersal devices. They are significantly less deadly and cheaper to make than nuclear weapons. They are also much easier to produce. In dirty bombs, radioactive material is combined with ordinary explosives, such dynamite, and then thrown into the air by the power of the explosion. Although harmful, the amount of radioactive material spread is not always fatal. A dirty bomb is really easy to make, said Scott Roker, Vice President for the Nuclear Materials Security Program at the Nuclear Threat Initiative, a non-profit organization based in Washington. A dirty bomb's components could be sourced from research centers, radioactive sources utilized in industry and medicine, or other sources. Richard Jaragosian, founding director of the Regional Studies Center, an independent think tank in Yerevan, Armenia, said in a 2016 op-ed for Al Jazeera that following the September 11, 2001 attacks on the United States by Al-Qaeda, fears multiplied in the West of the dangers posed by radiological dirty bombs. Jaragosian said that while there had been significant efforts in Russia and Ukraine to dispose of radioactive materials left over from the former Soviet Union, safely disposing of such material in the Caucasus had been a lower priority. Soviet-era facilities in the Caucasus had once had ample supplies of cesium, strontium and other related radiological materials. But since the collapse of the Soviet Union, ample supplies of cesium, strontium and other related radiological materials, he said. Jaragosian had also said at the time of writing that the arrests of 3 suspects in Georgia for attempting to sell radioactive material should remind the world that it cannot remain complacent to dirty bombs. The same year, then U.S. President Barack Obama hosted world leaders at a nuclear security summit focused on preventing assailants from using radioactive material to outdo the 9/11 attacks. What damage can a dirty bomb cause? Here's a look at what experts mean by the term dirty bomb. The number of casualties and the extent of damage from a dirty bomb depends on many variables. A key factor is the amount and type of conventional explosives that are used, which determine the magnitude of the blast. Experts say the main effect of a dirty bomb is psychological, which is why such devices are often referred to as weapons of mass disruption as against mass destruction. The radioactive cloud would likely spread over several blocks, according to Roker. But as radioactive material spreads through the atmosphere, it becomes less concentrated and less harmful. Specialized equipment is required to detect radiation. Contaminated homes, businesses and public services could be placed off limits for months and need an expensive cleanup operation. In a 2002 testimony at a United States Senate hearing, Richard A. Meserve, then chairman of the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission, said a dirty bomb has to be sharply distinguished from a nuclear weapon, which itself relies upon the nuclear material to cause the propulsive force. A nuclear weapon would have devastating effects. This is in contrast with a radiological dispersion device. Our evaluation is that such devices are really not very effective as a means for causing fatalities, he said. We have looked at a range of scenarios in which they might be